Hi, I'm Vishwarup Mukherjee. I head the HR for Commercial Vehicle Business Unit at Tata Motors. I'm going to share with you on how do we activate the culture credo in large organization. Culture is best described by the phrase, the way things work around here. It's the way things get done in an organization. Culture manifests itself in the values, beliefs, behaviors, artifacts, policies, processes that influence people's behavior on a day-to-day basis. It's reflected in the collective behavior of an employee in an organization. We are all aware of the famous saying by Peter Drucker that culture eats strategy for breakfast. Organizational culture enables high performance and is also the reason for organization falling apart and not able to withstand competition. From the classic study of John Cotter and James Heskett, it has been seen that organizations with a strong and adaptable culture perform the best over time. In an increasingly disruptive world wherein change is the only constant, it's important that organizations constantly curate the elements of organization culture in order to navigate the disruptions and make the organization future ready. At Tata Motors, the organization leadership reflected on the various elements of our organization culture in 2020. We reflected on the elements of our culture we wanted to continue and further strengthen. We reflected on the elements of our culture which we needed to refine, the elements of our culture we needed to change. We thus embarked on a transformative journey around culture, which every organization would need to do from time to time to align their cultural North Star with their organizational aspirations. The entire journey was a co-creation by the employees of the organization along with the leadership of Tata Motors. The activation of this transformative journey was planned in 3 phases. Step 1 was to diagnose and discover, in which we heard from our employees and leadership around the aspects of culture. The discussions were around the aspects of culture we wanted to retain and was core to us, the aspects of culture we wanted to refine to make it even more impactful, and the aspects of culture which we wanted to change. We also initiated an org-wide survey to get more feedbacks around the beliefs and experiences which define our culture now and what we must embark on. Step 2 was to analyze the outcomes of the focus group discussions, surveys, leadership meetings, and design the culture pillars which would eventually form the culture credo for Tata Motors in the days ahead. The entire exercise, I must say, was very absorbing and also insightful, as it provided us so much of learnings around the cultural tenets on both the current and the go-to aspect. We thus co-created our culture pillars, which would eventually be the North Star for all our behaviors in the days ahead. Step 3 was to activate these culture pillars, co-created and communicate and explain to the larger organization. We'll focus more on how we activated the culture pillar in subsequent slide. For now, let's look at the culture credo we formed up as an organization in 2020. Our culture credo hinges on 4 culture pillars. Be bold. It encourages us to take calculated risks and act with confidence and agility to accomplish our goals. Own it. It's about driving empowerment and owner's mindset across the various levels of an organization. Solve together. It reinforces us to be accountable by holding each other accountable and collaborate proactively to solve a problem. Be empathetic. It encourages us to embrace diversity and work with passion to delight our customers. Once the culture credo was launched and the communication was done around the same across the organization, the bigger challenge was on how we activate the new culture pillars and how we can align such a large organization with the tenets of the new culture pillars. To internalize our culture credo, it was very important that every one of us in the organization understood our culture credo, and also we aligned our behaviors with the new culture credo. Thus, activating the culture credo is and will always be one of the most important aspects of any culture transformative journey in an organization. As a first, towards activating our culture credo, we integrated our people processes, with the leadership behaviors around the culture credo. People processes like talent acquisition, performance management, leadership development, 360-degree feedback, reward and recognition all got integrated with leadership behaviors, which stems from the culture credo. Integrating the people processes enabled us to reinforce the behaviors through the people process framework in the organization, and thus was one big important step towards activating the culture. In this phase also, there was a lot done around communication to enable employees and people leaders to understand our leadership behavior, how it got integrated in our various people processes. The next step we took towards activating our culture pillars was initiate Culture Connect workshops across our businesses. Culture Connect workshops were full-day workouts with almost 100 employees across various level, age group, gender, function, who came together to discuss on the various elements of culture in that unit which needed to be continued or to be changed to ensure that the unit is more aligned to the cultural pillars. We thus took help of LSIP, large-scale interactive process, to activate the culture. Let's reflect a bit on what is an LSIP. LSIP is a methodology to achieve organizational objectives by involving large number of participants. It is one of the most effective methodologies for creating accelerated change and for enhancing employee engagement. In LSIP, we get all the people concerned or impacted with the change in the same place at the same time, and all of them are provided the same input so that they are able to get the same opportunity to participate and contribute towards driving the change. The theory behind it is as follows. The approach is based on Dan Miller Tyson Associates DVF model of change, where D stands for dissatisfaction with the present situation, V stands for vision of positive picture of what is possible in the future, and F stands for first steps towards the change which people can take forward towards reaching their vision. R is resistance to change. Thus, according to this model, for any successful change to take place, the product of D, V and F must be greater than the resistance to change, which is R. Culture Connect was our version of LSIP, which enables employees and leaders across various units within Tata Motors to drive the change aligned to the culture credo. Around 25 Culture Connect workshops has been done till now. It's an ongoing process we do every year to do a pulse check on our activation of the culture credo. 120 projects have been done as an outcome of these workshops and has enabled visible changes in the organization, including role modeling behaviors towards aligning with culture pillars. Here is the activation framework of our culture credo, which has helped us to activate our culture credo and evolve in our culture transformation journey. The framework is about a top-down approach in which key themes which we have picked up from the LSIP are being driven by the leadership. It's about location-specific bottom-up approach in which various employees across units are engaged in driving various projects which in turn are driving the change in that unit. It's about focused reviews being done and active interest being taken by leadership to drive these behaviors. The framework, as you can see, relies heavily on business managers and business leaders driving the culture transformation journey within the organization. At the end, would want to reiterate the famous statement by Edgar Schein, which talks about the importance of leadership in activating and managing culture of an organization. Even if we do not curate, culture is still formed in an organization. Hence, it's important that we curate the culture and also enable the organization to navigate as leaders. Culture is a continuous journey and it needs to be curated continuously. Hope this session provided you insights on how to activate the culture credo in large organizations. Thank you.